Hello.
Hello. Happy October.
Yes, I know. Love it.
Yay.
Love it.
Very good. Good evening. It's good to see you, sweetie.
You too. You too. Um, I know we both had kind of big days, and you've been flying.
And boy, are my arms tired. I didn't do it. You set me up. Hi, Deborah. Hello. Good evening. Good to see you on the air, online with us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, welcome. We're going to chit chat a little bit while people sign on. If you're just signing on for the first time or second or third or whatever, you're regular, you're new, welcome to the show. We're glad you're here. Please type in the comments section. In this case, you're coming through YouTube, and let us know you're here. Just say hello. It's the easiest way for us to know you're there. Also, during the show, at any time, feel free to ask us questions, throw in comments, tell us your little story that's related to the topic. And we love that. That's why we do this live. We want to hear from you. My name is Margot. This is Iris. And the show is Eyes of Indigo. And sometimes, let's see, right now we're showing up on YouTube. And in about 3 more weeks, we will come back to being live on Facebook as well. Once Facebook gets its crap together.
I know.
Long story, but we have succeeded in offending the Facebook gods, and we're very proud of that, actually.
But the thing is, if I'm going to offend them, I want it to be worth my while. I don't want to be over something stupid that.
They hacked her for posting a picture 2 years ago of a child playing with a power outlet. That's what got her knocked off for a month, which is here. But that's Facebook, automated Facebook, right? So
gotta have our war stories.
We do, even if we're getting a Purple Heart for getting a paper cut.
Yeah.
while filing GI papers, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we are on YouTube. Welcome, for coming to play with us tonight. And let's see, if you are watching this show in run, welcome. We are also audio recorded on, Iris, help me out here, iTunes,
Spotify, and any other aggregator of choice. They seem to be pulling us in, so that's good.
Yay, we're populating everywhere. Feel free. If we are new to you, Margot and Iris and Margot, please, you can learn more about our credentials, our background, why we talk about these things, where we get our information from, in a biographical sense. Go back to the episode 1. We call it the prequel. And if you're new to our show, please visit us there. It's on YouTube and Facebook once it comes back up. And check out episode 1. And it's a synopsis, 30 minutes. We interview each other. You can see all of our credentials.
Yeah, in fact, it should be on Facebook now. I'm not. They didn't shut down our page. They just kept me from going live. They don't want me saying anything offensive. Maybe they think I'm going to cut my throat on Facebook or something. I don't know. So they think I'm suicidal from 2 years ago. Because the kid was playing with a socket.
We're weird, but we're not that weird.
No.
So feel free to come and play with us. We've been doing this for a little more than a year. Iris has been on every single episode.
You can't get rid of me.
I'm a Rolling Stone. It's a little harder. Iris has been captain of the ship the whole time, and it's been great. We have no plans to stop, so please stay with us and come listen to our show. We do this every Wednesday night, Eastern time, 9:30 to 10:30 ish.
Yeah.
And
I want to plug a quick.
Yes.
I've got my book, and since it's coming upon the ghost and ghouling season, my book is a guide for anyone really who sees ghosts, but especially for people who have children that claim they're seeing ghosts, and that can be children, teenagers, whatever, how to address them. But it's also got real stories and how we addressed them when I was growing up versus how I addressed them with my children. And
lots of great advice in there.
yeah, so
And
I
fun
appreciate that.
stuff. There's fun stories in there too. Yeah.
And so you can find it on Amazon, and either look up my name or Care and Feeding of Ghosts, and it'll come up.
Very
So,
cool. You know what? Let's do a quick plug. Do you have the Janet Hosmer's
yes.
Dreams event? Dreams
Yes.
Empowerment Day in Saturday, November 6th in
Yes.
Myrtle Beach at the Marriott Courtyard at the Broadway at the Beach Marriott. And we have a few friends that are in here, of several of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5? Yeah, 5 people presenting at different times, different topics. Pick which one you want and either email or call that person or go to the Dreams with 2 M's website. Janet lifted me that email as well. It's hosted by Janet Hosmer of Dreams.
Yes.
And that's a lot of fun too. We said we would share that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to give her a plug. So
Janet is both of our publishers.
yeah.
Janet is Iris's publisher and mine too. I wrote and published a series of Reiki textbooks.
Yes.
So we love Janet. Anything Janet does.
And Janet is a very unique and special person, and she just smart as a whip and gets
all heart.
us. Yeah.
Extremely wise and all heart and funny. Oh my God, she is a riot in her own cool little unique way. She is really cool. And her husband's really awesome too. So
yes. Okay, so our topic
tonight.
Then. Yeah, tonight let me show this. This is the little thing I did for promoting tonight's program. We're going to talk about the Rainbow Bridge. What happens when our pets die? Do they understand what happens? Is their death anything like our own? We'll discuss these questions and more. So that's our topic tonight. Yeah, so what is the Rainbow Bridge? Well, basically there was a story that went around, and from the research I found, there's actually several people that have written stories / poems about the Rainbow Bridge. And in fact, let's just let me go ahead and go to that because it's in this website.
Sure.
And where is it? Where am I? I'm sharing, and I just got to figure out where it is. Sorry, folks. There it is. And I will make this a little bit bigger because I know it's not. No.
You can see a lot of it.
Can you? Whoops.
It's actually got a date. It says there's a Pet Remembrance Rainbow Bridge Day.
Yeah.
August
That's
28th.
in August 28th.
Yeah. About 2
But what
yeah.
is it? So they it's like people who are grieving can relate to releasing their loved fur babies. And this is one of the compositions, and it says there's a bridge connecting heaven and earth. It is called the Rainbow Bridge because of all its beautiful colors. Just this side of the Rainbow Bridge, there is a land of meadows, hills, and valleys with lush green grass. When a beloved pet dies, the pet goes to this place. There is always food and water and warm spring weather. The old and frail animals are young again. Those who were sick, hurt, or in pain are made whole again. There is only one thing missing. They are not with their special person who loved them so much on earth. So each day they run and play until the day comes when one suddenly stops playing and looks up. The nose twitches, the ears are up, the eyes are staring, and this one runs from the group. You have been seen, and when you and your special friend meet, you take him in your arms and hug him. He licks and kisses your face again and again, and you look once more into the eyes of your best friend and trusting pet. Then you cross the rainbow bridge together, never again to be apart.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's a real um sweet and comforting sentiment for a lot of people. Um According to the psychologist on that website, not everybody. Some people find it disheartening or whatever, which there's always that one in a group.
there's always that 1 in 5 dentists.
Yeah. Like, how many dentists did you interview? 5. No. So
Yeah,
anyway, um but it's interesting because I can remember, I believe it was George Andrews. I read a book about him. Have you ever heard of him? I don't know what he's doing
that
now.
is that's such a neutral common name. I don't know if I've heard of him or
Okay,
not. Keep
he
going.
he was a man back in like the 70s. Um, people would approach him because there were stories about him being able to do readings and such. But he never really sought the limelight. And there was a DJ that was real famous in New York for debunking people. And he would get them on and he would grind and grind until he figured out what the trick was or whatever, that when
He
people
was a
did
debunker.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And his producer said, "I've got somebody you will not be able to debunk." And the guy said,
Right.
"Okay." Yeah, George Anderson. Anderson. I don't know if I said Andrews, but it's Anderson. Anyway,
Anderson.
he
Yeah.
said, "Bring him on." And they had him on. And they had him on again. And they had him on
And on
again.
again.
And the guy said it didn't matter what I threw his way. He was on top of it. He knew all he knew when he was being fake, like the guy tried to make up a
Make up
story.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like he knew that. He knew stuff about this radio guy that nobody could have possibly known. And he was just on the spot. So then they started having him on going, "This guy's for real, and let's
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 go
learn more."
play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so eventually the radio host wrote a book about George Anderson. And so I read the book. And it's really fascinating in how George relays the other side and his views on suicide and all this other
Wow.
stuff. And but one of the things is about animals, and and how everybody has a job on the other side. And one of the jobs that a lot of people go for is taking care of the animals that pass,
That's right.
which is very, and I loved that because I read that, like, I won't even tell you how many years ago. But it was just such a really cool notion to, and that's when I first started realizing and recognizing how, oh, that explains guides, and that explains
Mm-hmm.
why people
Some of
visit,
them.
or
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that was part of my awakening, but so
Cool.
I highly recommend it if anybody. But I remember him talking about pets. So
Mm. Mm.
I haven't breathed long enough to let you say something. So what
No, I started off. You're doing good.
I guess.
The version, let me throw out this.
Mhm.
The Rainbow Bridge, I like the take that you read online there. And I'm guessing some people's hesitation is that it bothers them that the animal is in stasis and waiting for its human instead of evolving on and on into infinity, the way we're souls are designed to. Or if they're a different belief system that says that animals don't have souls and don't have an afterlife, then that would religiously offend them. That somebody's making stories about animals' souls moving on. So I can see those two different kinds. I can understand. Doesn't mean I've subscribed to them. I understand the two other kinds of descent. The version of Rainbow Bridge that I understood is very similar to what you read, but slightly different. It's more abstract, the understanding I had, in that this is a magical, healthy, youthful, healthy, happy again place that animals that favorite pets, not wild animals, not pets without humans, but people, animals that had a people, go to wait for their people to pass on. And that part is similar, but that they meet on the Rainbow Bridge and where they go, that, but not necessarily that they cross the Rainbow Bridge together. That part was different. You can, in this abstraction that I know of, you can choose to cross with that animal. And whether or not you stay together in the future is also not predetermined either. That's also another choice that you have. The point of the belief system is that you get to see the animal at least one more time. And if you want to stay together in perpetuity after that, sure, you can, but you get at least one more shot at seeing your animal, and your animal seeing you, and everybody being happy and healthy, across all belief systems that embrace animal afterlife, of course. So slight variation, but similar intention and similar design. Yeah.
Something I'm being told, yes, tell them about this. And I'm like, okay.
Do it.
It's interesting. The Rainbow Bridge, just that thought, because a lot of people have showed little rainbows on the bridge, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, Jamie, in different memes and stuff, but or little pictures. You know, you can buy pictures with this elaborate rainbow bridge and okay, but okay, I've done the research for years on my name, Iris. And Iris was the goddess of the rainbow and communications. And the rainbow was used, she would bring messages from the Greek gods to the people. And
that was her vehicle. That was her
the
path.
rainbow was her path. Her
way. Yeah.
Yeah. So she would use the rainbow to travel and deliver messages. And so it's kind of interesting. There's a connection somewhere in there.
There's an energetic connection in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought I had to throw that out, and we can ponder on that.
So Deborah asked a question, and then I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah. Oh, Deborah. Yeah, I've got to tell you, there was a funny thing I saw where it showed all these cats together in a and okay, I'm sorry. She says, what if you had multiple animals? Could you stay with all of them? I needed to read that for the audio. But I found a cartoon. I didn't pull it because it had the watermark and stuff on it, and I didn't want to
copyrights.
Yeah. But it was like either a bunch of dogs, and it was like Martha's rescue animals. And it was like, we're all waiting for her to come. And it was like 10 dogs or all these cats. Can you imagine what it'd be like?
We're all gathering, waiting for one person that was a rescuer. Oh, I think I've seen that one. Well, Deborah, if you can tell, the answer is yes. You can meet multiple animals, and they are in perfect harmony with each other, and they all do give each other time, unlimited time with you, one-on-one and as a group, however you choose, because time and space are entirely different on the other side than it is here. So spending, 5, 6, 10, 12 hours, days, years, feeling like with one animal is a mere microsecond of time passing to a different animal, and they are not waiting another 5, 12, 10, 12 days, hours, years like you are. Their experience of time is entirely different. It's a flash. So there's no limit. Yes, you can have all those animals. And hi, Jamie. Jamie says, I owned 3 animals. What kind of animals did you have? Dogs, cats, gerbils, birds, fish, horses,
Reptiles.
reptiles, gerbils, guinea pigs, fish. There you go. A little bit of dragon-esque there, draconian.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the theory is that all pets go there, the snakes, the gerbils, the birds. Sometimes, oops, animal practices, and I believe absolutely we reconnect with them. Yes, we did. Yeah, okay. So, Jamie, you probably know about the Rainbow Bridge. And if you have animal practices, you probably talk about it a lot to some of your clients. Yeah. Vet medicine, I'm saying I agree completely. The animals have spirits just like us. Yeah. Iris and I have communicated with deceased animals that were pets of other people. We know for a fact that their consciousness, their spirit, their souls do run around out there.
Yeah.
And for people that don't think animals go on, that's their personal choice. And if that brings them comfort, they like the idea of black and white finality, cut, no more dragging it out from their perspective. If that makes you happy, good. Do what makes you happy. Believe what makes you happy.
My
Yeah.
mom was really comforted when my dad had passed away, and not long before she died, their dog passed away. And it was funny because the way they got the dog, my dad went with me to a friend's house and they were in the process of moving, and he said, we're gonna have to give away this dog. And dad had swore he was not going to get another pet because they hadn't had a pet for years. No, 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 no. And the dog, he loved it, and he said, I'll take it. And he latched onto it. So it was more his dog than mom's. But then when he died, yeah, mom loved the dog. But anyway.
That
So
was
when her
just the
dog,
sequence of who it bonded with. Yeah.
yeah, and when her dog died, there was one day I was talking to her on the phone. She was in assisted living, and she said, I really miss Missy, and I hope she's okay and all this stuff. And it was like, bam, I got this vision. And I said, yeah, mom, she's fine. Actually, dad is playing with her. And she goes, really? And I said, yeah, I can see them. I said, and he's younger, she's healthy, and he's got a ball he's throwing, and he's gotten her to retrieve it. They're in this huge field and they're just playing. I said, he doesn't stay with her all the time, but he can go visit her whenever he wants. And that just made mom so happy. But I could see him clear as I could still remember what that looked like.
So that begs the question, can an animal wait for more than one person? Deborah asked, can a person have more than one animal? Yes. Can an animal have more than one person? Yes. Same thing. Time and distance mean nothing. So the same animal can show up for different people at different different times of death. Yeah, of passing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what I've noticed when I'm channeling animals that have passed on, sometimes the animal does not look the same as what it was when it was alive in this lifetime, such as somebody talked about, they recently lost, somebody who's middle-aged recently lost a favorite pet, and they named it, Jack-o'-lantern 2, because Jack-o'-lantern 1 was their favorite pet back when they were a little child, when they were a kid, back on the farm decades ago, blah, blah, blah. Is Jack-o'-lantern 2 still around? Well, you go back and look, Jack-o'-lantern, and I'm looking at this animal and I'm like, is your animal a little tiny brown terrier type thing? And he said, no, it was a giant white Samoyed type sled dog. And I was like, you got a little animal saying he's Jack, he's Jack, he's Jack, and he's a brown caramel colored terrier, not small. And his wife went, when you were a kid, your little dog, your little, that was the first Jack. And I said, yeah, he's still that. So they can change into whatever physical appearance, which might be even a different species. A cat might be a dog might be a cat, but they don't go that far off. I mean, a fish doesn't become a dog.
Yeah.
It's got to be really close, like a cat or a dog or another breed of dog, something
The fish
close
and
to
the
that.
bird are just doomed. They cannot fall in love.
Was it the cat, the pussycat, and the owl? Owl and the pussycat cannot fall in love. Yeah, even though they have a little romance poem about it.
Or there's
But
the
anyway.
Tommy, the Smothers Brothers did a song about crabs walk sideways and lobsters walk straight. And it was one fell in love with the other, and the parents were upset. No, you can't marry her because crabs walk sideways and lobsters walk straight. Da, 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 da. It was so cute.
That's cute. No, I didn't know that. That's cool. We'll have to find an outtake of that. That is really cool. So Jamie asks a real good input question that is relevant to our animals passing and humans. Do you ladies believe in Chinese teenagers? I'm waiting for you, Iris.
Yeah, I was like, did I miss something?
Read the question out loud and you might hear it.
Do you believe in euthanasia? Euthanasia? Oh my God. You are on a roll.
I've had a lot of caffeine and sugar today.
Oh God, maybe we should start raising funds for euthanasia.
Oh, the Kevorkian Fund. Sponsored by the SPCA.
Yeah, Kevorkian, are you kidding?
Oh, lady, do we believe in euthanasia? I can speak for myself. Iris obviously will speak for herself. Yes, I do believe in euthanasia. And it is on a case-by-case basis in my understanding, just like all of life. Yeah. Iris, where do you slide on that controversy?
Absolutely. Yeah, and to me, I don't believe in, grandma's gonna die soon, let's go ahead and push her along so we can get the inheritance. I don't believe in that.
You mean like they did to King Edward so that Queen Elizabeth could get on the throne?
Yeah.
They euthanized that baby. So do you know that story?
No, I don't.
He was sick, he was dying, he had been dying for weeks and weeks. And so that they could make the first edition of the morning newspaper, he was comatose and losing it and fading that night. They went ahead and injected him with some painkillers to make sure that they could make the morning edition by 3 a.m. And the king was departed.
Ding dong.
So that the press could call the shots. Where does that media comment sound familiar? I had to put that one in there. But yeah, I could technically euthanasia, but yes, letting people and animals go when they're suffering outweighs their quality of life.
Yeah. She says, awesome. I agree. Case by case, medical reasons, comfort, etc. Yeah, and I've talked. Well, I've dealt with hospice, but also talked to nurses.
Yeah,
and they'll, the ones in the know will tell you, all you have to do is go, is there anything we can do to make mom more comfortable? And usually oh yes, we can give her some more medication. Good. Give her all the medication that you can because we want her to be comfortable. And wink, wink, wink. And they're like, and I okay, your mother passed away. It's like,
No, it was not a morphine overdose. And your mother was high as hell, pain-free, and very happy on the way out.
she was sleeping like a baby.
We heard the breath of angels as she left the room. Absolutely. Whew, yeah, euthanasia. I think it should be a conscious choice of the patient when it's possible. In other words,
Yeah.
somebody who has had a meaningful conversation with that patient sometime in the past or recently, it doesn't matter, but somebody in the know that you trust can tell you that person's intention. Or there's a document now, what is called a DNR,
Do not resuscitate.
Yeah, do not resuscitate. That's another one. They don't want you to use ex, ex, ex,
like don't put them
excessive,
on the machines. Don't
right?
hook them up.
No excessive efforts to keep them alive.
Right.
But by law, your next of kin can override your DNR and have you resuscitated if they want you to. Which brings us to another conversation of, yeah, I think, looking at Jamie's comment, and I think Deborah wrote one too. Basically, we're all on the same page about euthanasia. How do you feel about the opposite? People who keep their pets going for weeks, months, and years when they're very sick. That's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a hard one, and it's to me there is a joint contract between the two, where the pet is like, yes, I will hang on because you're
you
learning
want me
something.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're learning something. The sad thing that I see a lot of is the number of pets that take on their owners' illnesses, psychoses, whatever, and then all of a sudden, little Fluffy has cancer. What's going on?
Yeah,
Little
mommy
Fluffy hasn't learned to let it go.
Yeah.
And
mommy has stomach cancer, and little Fluffy suddenly has pancreas cancer or liver cancer. Mommy has cancer of the spinal cord, and the pet suddenly has brain cancer or sinus polyp. It's mirrors.
and I've worked with people with their animals, and so we need to teach this pet to let it go, and
Tell us that story.
well, I've had a couple of them, and it's like I'll what I do is I connect with the animal's higher being, which
While
is
it's alive.
while it's alive,
Yeah.
and say, is it okay to work with this animal and teach this animal and get permission from its higher self? And usually the animal's a lot calmer and more receptive. And it's amazing to see the change, but then to be able to convey, allowing the animal to understand that it doesn't have to hold that energy, it can pass through and it can send it out, and that
Let
sort of thing.
go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it
Let it
go.
go.
Yeah, and so that is amazing. Looks like we're getting some comments here. Deborah says a neighbor who was reluctant to euthanize her beloved suffering dog was counseled by her vet brother, who said God gave us stewardship over animals, and that includes helping them pass on. Yay, that was very good.
That's a nice insight. Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. She said it's hard to watch, but yeah, I nailed it.
Yeah.
Humans put their own neurosis onto them. Yes.
Yes. Humans put their neuroses on each other, on
Yeah.
their house plants, on their food, on their pets, on their parents, on their
You
kids.
can feel it in their air of their homes sometimes. You walk into somebody's house.
Wear a mask. That's when it's time to wear a mask.
You've seen the Big Bang Theory where Sheldon, he's doing this number
Yeah. You got the shirt up.
They have the shirt up,
Spraying
like crazy.
spraying.
That's what I feel like with some people. You get around them, and it's like, oh God,
Karma spray.
Boy, are you toxic?
Yeah, smudge, sage, potpourri, God bless. Yeah, little heart shapes, whatever. Dominus, left and right. Yeah.
Cross, get away.
We gotta
The power of Christ compels you. We will exorcise these demons that are holding on to you.
Be released in the blood. No, not that one.
Yeah.
Leave the blood in that one. Go to Jesus.
Oh, Lordy.
So, yeah, all right. So yeah, we got an interesting. There is two, as painful as it is, we got two sides to that situation. People and pets who are in the throes of making such a decision, and eventually the human has to be the one to step up and flip the switch or pull the cord or turn out the lights or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it becomes a conversation between the pet, the owner, and the vet, usually. And there's lots of interesting stories that pet vets will online that I've read commentary about when they've helped an animal be euthanized and what they typically said and did and how they felt about it and what the vet did after the owner and the beloved pet left and what the vet did to unplug, unwind, unload, and detox from the sadness.
I think it was more than a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yes. Sometimes a little that did help. A lot of them talked about they had conversations with God.
Yeah.
About what they had just had, and they all saw it as being a profound honor to be in such a sacred moment with a human and their beloved best friend. It's kind of like sitting in watching a husband and wife die.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets to see that or witness, one lover letting the other lover go. And it's kind of, watching a parent and a child die. It's the same thing. To sit in on that kind of thing is a pretty sacred ritual, even if it's improvised and sudden.
Yeah.
So the vets, they feel that way. And their point is y'all don't need to be thinking that we're doing this callously and that we don't care. We do care professionally. We don't show it until later. Mm-hmm. How we actually feel about the hardest part of our job.
Because they have to keep on a strong front
for their occupation.
Yeah, because you don't want an animal pet owner to go berserk when you're going, oh, I'm a doctor and I gotta put this patient out. The people are gonna go, what the hell's wrong with you?
Do you need the distraction of the person with the syringe blubbering and squalling and crying their heart out while they're trying to inject your pet and keening and wailing? And now it's about the vet and not the pet and not the grieving owner. It's about the vet losing their shit.
Or giving your dog a shot and go, this is the worst part of my job. Go whack.
Yeah, exactly. Get it over with. Yeah. Some Halloween music going in the background from the movie. From Jason.
Yeah. I don't always when I do.
Oh my God. We had to go down this path. All right.
Gotta keep it light.
Exactly. So let's row back upstream a little bit.
Okay. I'll tell you the story. I had two cats that were sisters. Oh. And one got sick and I took her to the vet, and the vet, I don't even remember now what her problem was, but it was like this disease that I might be able to make her more comfortable, but she was going to have, and it was like, it's time to let her go. I just knew it was time to let her go. And so they put her to sleep, and I let them take care of the body instead of me bringing it home. And about a week later, they sent me the sweetest card with a little tuft of fur and a bow wrapped around it, and her footprint on the card. And I was just going, but it was very sweet, and they sorry for your loss, blah, blah, blah. Well, I still had the sister cat. And in the meantime, had acquired a third cat, which was now, I still was down to 2 cats. And it was because I had 3 cats for a while, but the sisters were the ones. So then the second cat, it was a few months later, was acting weird
the sister cat. Yeah.
The sister cat was acting weird. And I was like, well, what's going on? And all of a sudden, she just kind of like fell and was like, it was almost like somebody with a stroke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And I was like, oh my God. And I picked her up because it was like 10 o'clock at night or something. And I picked her up and I laid her on my bed. And I'm like, Sam, I didn't know if she was like just all of a sudden going to snap out of it, but in my heart,
right.
I knew.
You didn't know if it was a seizure or a death. Right.
Yeah. And then but she kind of kept going. And it was weird because the way she was just kind of looking off. And I said, and I started crying. I knew she was going. And I said, Sam, it's okay. You can go be with Seal, which was her sister. And I said, it's okay.
You did your job.
2 seconds. Yeah, and that's what I told her. I said, you've done what you need to do. Go on. And 2 seconds later, it was like she took her last breath, and that was it. And I was just like, oh my God, I told you it was okay to go, and you went.
You feel like you killed her.
Yeah. I was like, but I know I didn't. But it was just, it was so I just sobbed. It was just such a
meaningful.
Yeah, very meaningful that I could be there for her and do that for her and hold her and pet her and try to help her relax so she could go.
Yeah. Reassure.
But I wanted it to be as short as possible. I mean, I was like, do I get a hammer and hit her? I mean, thoughts that let me put you out of your misery.
The fastest way I can get you out of here if I have to.
Yeah. You almost wish you had like a little emergency vial, break glass when somebody's giving their last breath,
Euthanasia.
Yeah.
One for dog, one for cat, one for human.
Yeah. Exactly.
One for naughty children.
Yes.
For looks.
Deborah says, wish telling them okay to go worked so well with house guests.
Deborah. Amen, sister.
You've done your job. It's time to go now. You have raised my ire and helped me learn how to deal with difficult people. It's time for you to go.
I have seen the light, so you should see it on the other side of the door.
Oh.
What do you ladies think of death doulas? I know some culture tribes have them. Iris, you sound like you would be a comfort. Yes, we do know I know what a death doula is. It's the same.
We had one on here.
Kathy.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
That was about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that's Kathy Andrews, who is in that Dreams Empowerment Day event that we mentioned at the beginning of the show on November 6th in Myrtle Beach at the Marriott Courtyard. She's a death doula, which is similar to a birth doula, only it's for people who die.
Yeah.
Iris would be a shoe-in for a death doula. Yeah.
I've often thought I would love to do it. That it would be.
It's an honor.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have any trouble doing it.
It's
it
called
wouldn't
Angel
bother me.
No, it wouldn't bother you at all.
But I I gave a presentation at it was a work conference for people in community colleges, and I was talking. My part of it was on burnout, basically, and how to. But I took
Yeah.
it a step further, and not just, oh, you need a vacation or you need to get spa treatment or whatever. I took it a step further in saying, what are your triggers and why
Yeah.
are these people bothering you, and
Yeah.
what are you getting from it, and recognizing that they have their journey, you have your journey, that kind of thing.
Right.
But and one of the big things we talked about was you always have a choice. In any situation, you always have a choice. So it might not always be the choice you want. Somebody's holding a gun to your head. Do you give me your money or do you die? Which do you want? Well, but you have the choice. Okay. And so you can't. And I told somebody, and I told them, the class I was speaking with, I said, what can you think of any situation where you don't have a choice? And the guy said, death. And I said, but you do. And he
Dude.
kind of he looked at me and I went, oh, I think I went a little woo woo out there, didn't I?
For sure. But you always have a choice, even when you die.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard of miracle comebacks and people dying and coming back to their body as well, and miraculous recoveries and da 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 da. Well, the people that don't do that chose not to do that.
Yeah. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I said, maybe if your head is severed, you don't really have a choice to come back. I said, but who's to say that you didn't determine that before you even got here? And then he really went, oh. I was like,
Yeah.
we'll
You
talk
chose
about
to
that later
die
over
that.
drinks if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that theory. Yeah, that cool theory is they chose that method of dying before they were born, possibly
Yeah.
before they were born. But at some point, they chose to die with capitation, and
Trippy.
it is trippy. It is
Yeah.
trippy. Jamie made a good point about sitting with people as their pet is dying. She made a comment that I found kind of pretty and touching. She says, "Yes, let me tell you, men in mourning was the hardest." Yeah,
Oh,
in our culture,
wow.
we're still not comfortable with men expressing profound emotions, especially
And they're
sad
not
ones.
comfortable. Or
That's why,
a lot of them. Yeah.
yeah, if they're not comfortable, then we're not. And yeah, that's a sign of the times. And the times are changing
Yeah.
because more and more young men I'm seeing and experiencing, and middle aged men and older men. So we're talking about men coming out of the 60s and 70s and age of enlightenment. They are more likely to openly cry and grieve. However, they got some catching up because women will still do keening and wailing and vocally crying along. Oh, they'll make noise while they cry. And men are less inclined to make that much noise, but they're human. So it'll be an interesting evolution in sociology to notice if men become that expressive about public grief the way women are now.
Of
Something
course,
to
I've
food
always
for
had an
thought
issue
in the future.
with anybody that, okay, if you're sincerely crying and grieving, whatever floats your boat, right? But
Yeah,
there are some people
who
that it
fake
is
it.
like they're putting on a friggin' show. Woo! It's like, God knows, are you trying to raise the dead or what? And and it's like,
They are trying to sell it. They are. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. They're trying to sell something that isn't really there. What's irritating you is their lack of sincerity,
yeah.
not
It's
the
like you
fact
just
that
want to
they're making
smack them and
noise.
say, snap out of it.
If you know the name of that movie, type it in the comments section, because I do. And extra points if you remember the name of the person who said it, the actor, actress, person that said it, without giving it away.
Ah.
But that is a good one. Snap out of it. Yeah, exactly. Other cultures, men do keen and moan and cry out loud in public because culturally you're supposed to. in some of those, and they're more closely indigenous cultures that do that. But yeah, insincere mourning and keening is that curls my pin feathers and makes me flinch too. But yeah, people who cry and moan for real, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
It's a way of actively using sonic healing to let the feelings out. Yeah. And literally energetically move that energy out of your existence. And it's a type of sonic healing. Absolutely. If you might remember,
I'm going to the drive-in and getting one of those cherry sodas or something,
and a cigarette.
Yeah, roll on out of here, girl. I got an order for you.
Yeah.
I go to Sonic for that.
And keep them coming.
Yeah.
Get you a fat stogie and a cherry soda and watch Jaws 1 and 2 go by over and over.
Well, I was thinking
laughing.
I was talking about Sonic Drive-In.
Oh, I think the movie theater.
Yeah.
And just watching what was it? Who did Red Rum? Jack Nicklaus. What movie was that?
Shining.
The Shining, Jaws, Jason, or whatever that is, Halloween, Friday 13. Keep all the sugar drinks coming, plus the big cigar until you laugh.
Ah, that's a good one.
And with all that horror, the perspective and the chemical rush, you'll be fine. It's kind of a crash course, but you'll be fine.
I would go to the drive-in for that, and then they'd end up showing my dog Skip, and what's the other one?
The Reason Dogs Die, or
All Dogs Go to Heaven. No, that's
All Dogs Are A Dog's Life. Why
the
dogs?
one with not Owen Wilson. What's it? Luke Wilson. No, Owen Wilson. Luke Wilson.
Dennis Quaid. Oh, the one with the yellow dog.
Marley.
Yeah, the Marley. Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
I hear that one will make you cry.
Oh my God.
I haven't even watched it.
It's as bad as Terms of Endearment. It's as bad as Terms of Endearment.
Is it as bad as Old Yeller? Do you remember Old Yeller?
Yeah.
Old Yeller was a tearjerker in its time.
Yeah.
In its time.
Of course, my kids laughed at The Exorcist, so it's like.
Oh yeah, God. that won't. Yeah, they play video games. The Exorcist is not going to thrill them.
Like, really, Mom? You were scared when you watched this one the first time? And I'm like, this is a classic. And they're like, and I'm like, no, you can't. Like, the power of Christ compels you. And they're going, and I'm like, no.
Think about video games. They see blood spurt, vomit, heads flying off, body parts flying off in graphic detail in video games several times. I'm talking about all kids in general. I don't know what your kids saw, but in a lifetime, they're going to see that several times if they play video games at all. So the first time they saw it, it freaked them out. Just like the first time you saw Exorcist, it freaked you out. But you get desensitized. That would be a good example of the Jewish Holocaust. How did those soldiers kill and gas hundreds of thousands of people each and not react to it? They got desensitized.
To an extent, yes. And I agree about the desensitization. With my case, my kids, the special effects, the lack of the dialogue, the video quality, the special effects quality, it was like, really, Mom? And I'm like, yeah, that's what they got. But I'd also have conversations with them, like, my son was like 8 at the time, and he loved the Jackass program, and we'd watch people jumping off the roof, and I'd look at him and I'd go, you should never do that, right? And they're going, God, these people are idiots. Of course we know that. And I said, you also know
you still need to say that. Yeah.
Because I said, there are kids that will do that because they think they can get by with it. Just like some people watch Tom and Jerry cartoons and think you can do that. And they're like,
yeah, go ahead, step on a rake and watch what happens.
Yeah, crack a skull.
Let's start there. Yeah.
Yeah, but they they got that. I mean, they were smart kids, but yes.
Yeah. Now, a tearjerker that I watched, you want to talk about in terms of old classic movies that got you to a tearjerker. Do you remember The Green Mile?
Oh, yeah. That was deep.
That was deep. It was very sentimental on the surface, but if you watch it a second time or third time and really listen to what Duncan is saying, the main character, the giant man that got executed at the end, what he said at the beginning about why, and then later on at the end about why.
Yeah.
Wow. It'll enlighten you watching that movie and really paying attention. And then when he saves the lady at the end and it almost kills him, what they say,
Yeah.
if you analyze and think and feel into what they're saying beyond just words and be there in the room,
Yes.
mentally,
Oh, that just
emotionally,
gave me
with the
goosebumps.
characters,
Yeah.
you will have a spiritual experience. Even if you're atheistic, you will have some kind of energetic experience that will enlighten you about about a lot of things, but mostly how multidimensional, multifaceted, and multi-powerful we really are on a profound level that is even more unique than what I just said. If you watch the movie, you'll get it.
There's
But be
another
prepared to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another movie that I was thinking about the other day, and I thought, that one is just so underrated. Powder.
Yes, thank you. That's on my recommended reading list for my Reiki Master students. Powder is extremely underrated. Boom! In one lifetime, he evolved from a human. Never mind, I'll give away the plot. But
But yeah, I mean, this
yeah.
guy who was picked on and
Spoiler.
persecuted,
Yeah.
and
Becomes something else.
yeah, and in a good way, you know.
But how he got there was also the hero's journey. The Christ persecution before the exoneration. But in Powder, he's exonerated in a really spectacular and beautiful way that will make you go, wait, that's not the end of the movie, is it? There's no Powder 2. So brace yourself, Effie. That's all you gonna get. And that's all you need. If you can name that movie, you get extra points tonight. Around out here. If you don't know what they are, we'll say the names of them at the end of the show.
I did want to share real quick, kind of pulling us back to animals. I mean,
yes.
I mean, it's all relative, but there was, and I know I've told this story before in a previous show, but I'm gonna tell it again because not everybody's seen it. There is a I was teaching an adult class, about a half a dozen men in it. It was an English class for people who were getting like HVAC and electrician
degrees
at the community
licensure.
college.
Yeah.
And they had to have some sort of English class. So I was teaching writing for business and that kind of thing. And it was a 3-hour class, so we took a couple of breaks during the night. And, all these just typical macho guys in the class, but they were really nice, got along with them great. And they had been in other classes together, so they all knew each other. Well, they had gone on a break, and I was sitting in the front of the class at a table, just kind of going through my notes and what did I want to cover, what have I covered, what do I need to cover. And all of a sudden, I see this dog who nobody else can see that runs into the room. And I'm like, what the hell is this dog doing? And it runs back to the door. Yeah. And it runs back to the door and it's looking out. And it comes back to the guy's chair. And then it looked at me. And I was like, yeah. And the dog starts wagging his tail. You can see me. I found him. I found him. I'm so excited. I found him. And I was like.
And the guy didn't react because he didn't know.
Well, and the guy was outside. And I said, he'll be back in a few minutes. And he's like, and the dog runs back to the door and he's looking for the guy again. And he comes back. He's, pacing, waiting for this guy to come back in. And when the guy walks in the door, the dog's jumping, like trying to get his attention. And he follows him and he's jumping all the way to the guy. And the guy sits down and the dog's like, tell him I'm here. Tell him I'm here. I'm like, I can't tell him you're here. And then I get this, something is poking me on the shoulder. Yes, you need to tell him that he's here. I can't win this argument. Yeah.
But you have a choice.
Yes, I have a choice.
Do I be a spiritual asshole or do I talk? Yeah. A spiritual weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. Asshole weirdo. Asshole weirdo. And so I looked at the guy and I said, have you got any pets? Like, I'm trying to think how I'm trying to process. And he goes, yeah, we got a dog at home. And let me reword that. Have you ever had a dog that was about yay high and this color, looks kind of like this? I don't know. And I said, when you were about 10 years old and he only liked you, he couldn't stand anybody else. Oh, yeah, I remember that dog. Yeah, he'd always be all over me, but he couldn't stand anybody else. Nobody else could pet him. He's here. And he's so excited. And the guy's like looking at me. And I'm like, go figure, how would I know? And the guy's like, okay. But it was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And I said, I know. Take it for what it is. But I see the dog and I'm being told to tell you about the dog. And the guy says, okay. He goes back. And I said, oh, you have a linoleum floor in your kitchen? And he said, yeah. I said, at night when you go to sleep, if you're woken up by the sound of tick, 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 tick on your linoleum floor, I said, it's the dog. Don't worry about it. And he just kind of went, oh.
He didn't reject it.
No.
He just sat with it.
Yeah. But it was crazy because it was like,
oh,
the dog was just so excited. I guess he came back from the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, he's like, I ain't waiting for no damn bridge.
I remember you were with Kathy Martin, who's a local medium, and you and her were doing a workshop together. I remember coming in, and I could feel the energy in the room, but I wasn't as in tune as I am now. And y'all were talking about, do you see all these people? And look, there goes a dog. There goes another dog. Y'all were talking about it.
Yeah. Wow, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Every human brings an entourage with them, and sometimes it's animals too that are past animals. So, yeah, the Rainbow Bridge works both ways. They can come to us. We can go to them when we die. You can meditate and go see them. You can pray and go see them on the Rainbow Bridge. If it bothers you that a pet is waiting on you, meditate, pray, call them out, go see the animal, show them love, and give them permission to let go and move on. Just as if they were alive. You can do that. The animal doesn't have to stay in stasis if you don't want to. It is free will choice of the animal. You can request it.
And it's not just like sitting there twiddling its paws. It's
happy. Yeah.
It's happy. There are people,
caretakers.
I would say people, but
it's healthy and happy, and it has human love with it as well as other animal love with it.
Yeah. But I've seen, my dead cats walk through every so often. I'll see one walk through the room or whatever, and like,
my cats follow me everywhere. Other people comment on it. They're like, do you have cat I said, are you seeing tiny little shadows skitter around on the floor in the corners of your eyes and around behind the furniture just now? And they go, yeah. I'm like, it's my guys. Don't worry about it. They're holding the space. We're good.
Do they play with your current cat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's indifferent to it. He's like, yeah, okay, sure. Totally indifferent. What freaks me out is when my cat starts staring at stuff up on the ceiling over my head. And there's nothing moving and there's nothing there. No bugs, no lights, no breeze, no nothing.
There is a video.
And they'll track something. And sometimes we'll pull back and then get closer. And then suddenly lose interest. So whatever it is left.
I don't know if you saw, I posted a video on my timeline in Facebook. Anybody can look it up. And it is hysterical. It's this man showing what cats do. And one of the things is like staring.
It's nothing. Yeah. This man acting the way his cat acts.
Yeah.
Adult man. Yeah. It's cute.
Yeah, it is adorable.
And that's that is one of the things they can do.
What are you staring at? And then all of a sudden it goes off.
Something much bigger than me.
Yeah. That will freak you out in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Deborah has one more comment for us.
I've had two dogs come to me in my dreams. Oh!
They bring their caretakers with them. Oh! So you got doggies and angels. Yay!
Yay!
That is a cool twist that I have not heard before. That is beautiful. Both events were so. Go ahead, Iris.
No, both events were so comforting. They let me say goodbye to them and let me know they were okay.
Oh, that's what they're there for. Good. Some validation on the caretakers. Yeah. Thank you for telling us that, Deborah. There's people out there that want to hear this, and in the future will need to hear this. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Nice verification. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So I was about to say anything else about Rainbow Bridge, but Deborah was already on it. Good intuition, Deborah. So Iris, anything else about Rainbow Bridge?
To me, I think it's a dramatization of the process that allows people who maybe aren't as in tune to have comfort. And I think that's the intention. And I think our point here is that, yeah, there's some validity to it. And so it's not just a made up story, but if the story is comforting, stay with it. Otherwise, invite anyone to open up and take a look for themselves.
It's spiritual training wheels for the bigger reality on the other side.
Ooh,
training wheels are real, so is the other side. Yeah.
Training wheels with
it's
light.
Still valid. Yeah. Training wheels are entirely valid, necessary baby steps. I'm not reducing Rainbow Bridge at all. I'm just putting it in a bigger perspective.
Yeah. So with that, it's about time for us to
wrap up.
Yeah. So
Iris quoted the line from Moonstruck, said by Cher.
Snap out of it.
And she was speaking to Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Brace yourself, Effie is Mrs. Doubtfire, said by Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Quoting his alter ego self to his ex-wife, Sally Fields. And so Mrs. Doubtfire and Moonstruck.
Yeah.
Tonight's movies.
Yeah.
So join us again next week, folks. Same bat time, bat channel, 9:30 Eastern Time, Wednesday.
Yes, can't wait. Thank you for being with us. Namaste.
Love you. Bye.
You too. Bye. Thank you for joining The Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod of Incomptech.com. licensed under Creative Commons. Visit our Facebook page for broadcast details, www.facebook.com/EyesOfIndigo. Show is copyrighted 2021 by Iris Carter and Margot